way, but I would have liked the question to also add, would you take an absolute positions on never cutting any programs? Because I really think that if you look at the different candidates' position in this election, that's really the issue where some of us have differed.
Curriculum is varied and strong, and it is the reason why people come into Murraysville to want to live. Our school system is that much of a strong draw, and I can't tell you how many times over the past 4 years that people have come up to me and said the reason why they moved to Murraysville was the school system, and because of what we offer. And included in that program are the fine arts and the music programs that we continue to offer.
Denny, I moved to the district because of the schools, just to reiterate that. I think that the arts and music programs as well as phys ed are essential elements of the academic excellence in our schools, and that I would seek to maintain those because they play a very important role. I think that it's really important for us to acknowledge the close connection between the academic excellence in our school district and the property values that we enjoy here in the Murraysville, Export, and Delmont area. That if we start to compromise the academic excellence, our property values, our community will indeed decline. And that's why I think this strong curriculum that we have developed here must remain intact. Only 75% of American young people graduate from college. We have a 99% graduation rate here at Franklin Regional. It's something that we should be incredibly proud of and protect.
These programs, these very programs, music and arts, make academic student performance improved. They're a very valuable adjunct to accomplishing the goals of academic excellence that we need.
Taxes will go up at some point because costs inevitably do go up. The question is, as other people have said up here, is it worth the money? Because most people I've talked to, myself personally, we don't mind paying for value. We don't like paying for programs that are not being measured or evaluated in order to explain the cost.
Show me a good program and I'll fund it. Show me one that you can't cost justify and show an ROI on, and then I have to question it.
It's like Greg said, we'll pay for good programs, but I really truly believe that there are other programs out there that are even better, that are going to prepare our kids better for the future, that are going to give them opportunities for scholarship, that some of the programs that we have simply won't, and by the amount of people that are involved in those programs, it may not be worth it.
Do you support full-day kindergarten, or do you believe it is daycare for working parents?
Well, I guess I don't believe that all-day kindergarten is daycare. We've seen the impact of reaching out to these younger students in terms of improved performance. Getting a student started in all-day kindergarten and getting them into reading quicker by 3rd and 4th grade, and they start reading better, they're going to be more successful students all the way through, and we're going to have fewer students that drop out. I voted in support of all-day kindergarten because I believed that it was the right thing to do. The cost, I believe, is around $158,000 to the school district for a year.
Yeah, I too, like Paul, was on the board that made that decision, and I supported all-day kindergarten also. It is an academic program. It is not babysitting. It enables teachers, from my own personal experience, I'm a substitute teacher at Mother Sorrow's School. I have been called upon to do all-day kindergarten several times in the last 5 years. I distinctly remember one assignment that the teacher had left for me that was done at the very beginning of the day. The kids in the kindergarten class wanted to know if I was going to grade the papers, and I did so during my lunch hour, and I came back and I was able to see 3 or 4 students who were struggling, and I was able to pull them aside in the afternoon to give them one-on-one instruction in making their letters. So it's an academic program, and it's relatively always cost-effective. As Paul pointed out, it's $158,000, and I can't think of any better way of spending our money to direct it to the earliest learners that we have.
Staunch advocate of full-day kindergarten. That's what got me interested in running for school board in the first place. The social, academic, emotional benefits of full-day kindergarten are well documented. Children who enter school ready to read, ready to learn are going to be much more successful, and at the end of the road are not going to cost us tax dollars in remediation. They're not going to end up in the justice system. They're going to be successful in career and in life. We have 2/3 of American children who are not reading at grade level by the 4th grade. 2/3. If we help children when they're in kindergarten and when they're in 1st grade to be better prepared to face the academic challenges through the rest of school, 50 children who are not able to read well in 1st grade, 44 of them still will not be able to read well in 3rd grade. That points to the essential importance of having them in preschool programs, quality preschool programs, and in full-day kindergarten. I can't support it enough.
I'm amazed that it's such a lightning rod, and that the questionnaires that I received started off with that, and so I didn't answer them.
Personally, I went to half-day kindergarten. I'm the oldest of 6, and all 6 of us went to half-day kindergartens. 3 of us got full 4-year scholarships to college, so we certainly did okay. My 3 sons all went to full-day kindergarten, and they all turned out okay. So I don't know. I think it's like every other program. We need to evaluate it, look at the cost, look at the benefit, determine whether we continue it.
I am in favor of full-day kindergarten. I don't think it should have been something necessarily that needed to be brought up. Like I started to talk about in my opening, I really think we need to look at the exact opposite end. When kids get up to the senior high in their junior and senior year even, some of them are ready, and more than we know, they're ready to get out there.
So I don't think that trying to cram too many students into one class is a wise thing.
I know from being an educator myself, a retired educator, that class numbers inhibit your ability to provide one-on-one instruction.
But particularly in core subjects where students may need a bit more instructional time from the teacher, it would concern me that our class size would grow to 30 or greater.
There are school districts who are beating us in ranking with a higher student-to teacher ratio, and there are schools with a lower student-to teacher ratio who are not performing as well as us.
AP classes, for example, I think right now are somewhere in a range of 11 or 12 students per teacher, and those kids will graduate from high school and go to study at universities next year and sit in a lecture hall with 150 to 200 students with one professor. So I'm not convinced that we need classes that small.
On the other hand, when you get to college, when you get to grad school, you're going to be in classes with hundreds of people at times. And maybe, just maybe, it would be appropriate to take certain classes the way that science classes are split into lectures and labs and consolidate them for lectures every once in a while. You might be able to consolidate resources, and if you have a better science teacher, you might be able to get some learning and that kind of thing too.
What is your understanding of how the district is funded?
Is that primarily the school district is funded through state and federal funds as well as local taxpayer dollars, and I would point out that state funds represent on average in Pennsylvania 35% of school budgets. It's actually lower here, and the bulk of the rest of it is made up by the local taxpayer. However, nationally, state funds cover about 45% of local school district budgets. So in Pennsylvania, we actually have a much lower percentage of state funding for our schools.
Thank you. Mr. Samick.
And there's not much to add on that.
Thank you. Mr. Harding.
Again, facts are facts. I think they've just been stated.
And Mr. Nevin, do you have anything to add?
Well, I didn't mention in the opening comments that this is the challenge. This is the big challenge that I see when I pull this up on the budget on the Franklin page. There is an imbalance, and it's not going to get better quick. There is a looming problem with funding, and I saw a news article that said we're hoping to get to zero, but that's not a done deal yet. The budget will go up. The question is, where does that money come from, and how creative are we going to be other than just robbing some more money out of a reserve or taking another hit on the back of the taxpayers in the area?
We currently have financial stability and academic stability in our district. We were cited as one of the top 25 schools in the state of Pennsylvania out of 497 as being high-performing and low cost. I believe that the course of action that the school district has taken over the last 4 years that I've been on the board is a good one. We try to maintain and offer a quality education program, keeping in mind that people do move to Murraysville because of our school system, and to do it with an affordable reality. Our costs have been, we try to piecemeal and cut costs wherever we can. We capture positions during retirement. It's a formula that has worked for us over the last 4 years, and we've done that without the need for cutting any programs, which I cannot say that for other districts who are, are struggling financially. We have a plan in place, and it seems to be working here.
And there's just a simple rule. The simple rule is if you don't bring in enough money to pay for your programs, you're going to have to reduce your programs. And that's going on in school districts around us. So fundamentally, I think it's important to keep your revenue at least close to inflation, or you will be cutting programs.
I think that nobody enjoys having taxes go up and paying more, and so that I think the approach of really critically looking at the investments we're making in education in this community and evaluating them and making sure that they provide value for us are incredibly important. And I just need to go on record as saying that I've observed that happening with this current school board. All the members really diligently reviewing and taking very seriously the burden of taxes and what that means for all members of the community. And I feel that it's really important to say that, because I think at times folks don't necessarily know the level of dialogue and the stress that it brings the members serving on the board to make these decisions. And I think they've made them wisely, and they've made them with a focus on academic excellence in this community.